Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Unfuck Yourself podcast. Today, we are diving into the neuroscience behind how your internal self-image is controlling everything in your life. It's the reason why your relationships are the way they are. It's the reason why your career is the way it is. It's the reason why your finances are the way they are. It's the reason why your health is the way it is. It's the reason why your kids annoy you. I mean, it's the reason why you have any problem ever. Any problem ever, the root cause is either your self-love or your self-image. Now, we have had self-love and self-image explanations, hour-long explanations on podcasts before. So if you have not heard those, we will link those in the show notes. I would listen to those before you listen to this. Those were about around a year ago that we put those out. But this is going to be a prereq podcast episode, like a prereq to the Glow Foundation, that by the time you are hearing this, it is now open. Doors are now open for you to get in there. So in order to get in there, though, this is a must listen, or else what we talk about in there will make no sense, because that is for people who are ready to go advanced. And this is still advanced, what we're going to talk about today. I've never talked about what we're going to talk about today before. I've never explained it in this way, I should say. And even though this is an advanced understanding, this is still the foundation of the foundation of all things that we have to share here about self-image. So just like how we did the neuroscience of what's going on with your physical self-image 2 episodes ago, we'll link that in the show notes too for you. We are now doing the neuroscience of what's going on internally with your self-image, and how your internal self-image is quite literally taking over your life, whether or not you care to admit it or know about it. I always say self-image healing was the healing I never knew I needed. When I started just getting into healing myself and this stuff when I was around 19, I was literally doing it because I was like, oh my gosh, if I heal myself, then I will book all the dance jobs. Then I will be a well-known dancer. And I was kind of like just doing all this to manifest what I wanted. And that's what people forget. People think, like, you may be thinking, self-image and healing is cool and all, but what I really want to do is manifest. What I really want to do is get the new car. What I really want to do is get the big career. What I really want to do is make a lot of money. What I really want to do is get the dream relationship. What I really want to do is have the perfect body. So like self-image is cool, but like I'd rather learn about manifesting. But what if I told you from the perspective of source, self-image is the key and the only key to anything you desire to create in life. Healing your self-image is creating and manifesting those things for yourself. And it's the only way that you can do it from a balanced and aligned place. You can create things like 1 million Instagram followers from a place of your creator field screaming, I need validation, validate me. You can do that, and you can create 1 million people validating you, right? But are you fulfilled and feel whole on the inside, or do you still go to bed every night feeling like shit about yourself? And then do you need another 1 million because that other 1 million just kind of wore off like a drug, right? You took too many of the drugs and now you need more drugs to get you that high again. Same thing. That 1 million validated you and that's not enough now anymore. Now you need another 1 million. So you need 2 million total to now get that high. And now you're going to need 3 million total, right? Or now you're going to need more money, or the $10 million you made wasn't enough to make you feel like you were successful enough. So now you need another, now you need another, now you need another. And that's the pattern that we can actually break when we heal our self-image from the inside out. I cannot tell you the amount of people I have worked with who have made tens and hundreds of millions of dollars and who have had all the careers that from a human perspective, you would think, oh my God, they've made it. And I cannot, every single one of them who has found me and come to me absolutely does not have a high self-image without those things. Those things are the reason they feel successful. Those things are the reason they feel good about themselves. Those things are the reason they feel valuable. Those things are what gives them purpose. Those things are what makes them feel fulfilled. But at the end of the day, you have to go to bed at night with yourself. And you are the only one who can actually heal that wound, that void on the inside of not feeling enough, not feeling valuable enough, not feeling worthy enough, not feeling good enough, not feeling whatever the fuck enough. You are the only one who can actually permanently heal that. And when we actually permanently heal that and shift that from the inside, we now get to create and manifest that on the outside. However, we are manifesting from a source aligned place. We are manifesting from our higher self place, not from a wound. You can manifest from a wound, but that thing, that external thing is not going to heal the wound. It is like, I explained this in my reel the other day, but trying to fix an internal problem with a physical solution is will work temporarily, right? It's like you get a broken knee and then you put concealer over the black and blue bruises on your knee. You can't see the black and blue bruises for a second till it washes off later that night, but also your knee's still in deep fucking pain, right? That deep pain and that deep void in yourself is going to be there no matter if you get a Lamborghini, no matter if you get the $1 billion, no matter if you get the relationship you thought you wanted, right? That void is always going to be there. And then what happens? It then creates those highs and lows in your life, right? You cannot sustain the finances, you cannot sustain the career because before you know it, eventually it's going to come crashing and crumbling down and you won't have a pull in life anymore. There was a time, even with me, I got so much validation and feeling enough from career. And when I stopped needing that from an external thing, I actually got so much less motivated. My motivation was coming from some external thing, and I had to figure out how to feel motivated again from a place of I'm already more than enough. Like now what do I do, right? And I had to find and figure out how to get motivated again. I remember telling COO Sarah, I'm like, "Oh my God, like I feel like I'm already like the most successful person ever and I already feel really good and valuable. So like I need to figure out how to be motivated in my life now because that was my driving motivation for so long." And that's what happens is anyone who has ever come to me who has had the multi, 10 figure, I mean, what am I trying to say? Has made like tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Like people who've come to me who've done it, made that whatever, or who have the perfect body or whatever it is, they are the most likely to feel such a void at their core with their self-image, with not feeling good enough. Because the first thing I always ask them is somebody comes and they take away all that stuff tomorrow. How do you feel about yourself? And the answer is always like, oh my God, I would literally be so lost. So again, you might be thinking self-image healing is cool and all, but what if I really want to manifest? But again, what if I told you that the source perspective is that self-image is the key to anything you desire to create in life? Relationships, dream body, perfect health, incredible career, finances you're proud of, right? All things, all of this starts with self-image. And not to mention self-image not being up to par with where your higher self wants it is the only reason you have obstacles. You have obstacles, you have a self-image gap in your creator field. That's it. I'll help you out. You have obstacles, you can't figure out what it is. It's some kind of self-image problem somewhere, is why you're having an obstacle. And then that triggers an emotion. That emotion triggers you saying things you don't want to say. It all comes down to a self-image problem. Self-image is the foundational thing that I have started with myself, every single client, every single student over the years. You know, if you've ever had a private session with me, the first thing that I'm looking at when you tell me your problem, I'm looking at what your self-image problem is. You have a health problem, I'm looking at what your self-image problem is. You have a relationship problem, I'm looking at what your self-image problem is. You have a financial problem, I'm looking at what your self-image problem is. You have a career problem, I'm looking at what your self-image problem is. You can't get pregnant, I'm looking at what your self-image problem is. Everything points back to a self-image problem. Okay? So we are going to be unpacking this, and it's something that's shaping your entire life behind the scenes. Okay. And it is not your mindset, it is your internal self image, who you think you are internally, and the lack of connected you are to who you are on a soul level. Our soul, we have about like 4,000 attributes that make up our soul blueprint. 4,000. And if I asked you to name 10 things, 10 qualities that you like about yourself, how could you do that right now in 2 minutes? And you have 4,000. We are so disconnected from all of the incredible qualities of who we are at our core, that if I literally asked you right now to name 10 things and emotionally root to those 10 things that you think are cool and you like about yourself, it would be really fucking hard. 10 things when we have 4,000 of them. That is how disconnected that the media, that people have made you from your self image. So, this episode is going to help you understand why you still feel not enough, even when you, things look impressive from the outside, even when you have the career, even when you have the finances. Because two things can happen with this. I see two types of people. Okay, here's my two types of clients I get. And it makes sense because I've been both of these people. Just calling myself out a few years ago, right? First, type number one of client is someone who their soul needs them to master and know everything there is to know about the successful career until they get it. Right? Their higher self will not let them get a successful career until they know everything there is to know about it. Therefore, they come in, and because they don't know everything there is to know about it and their self-image and what ingredients they have, they haven't gotten what they wanted yet. Right. And so they're a little bit on like the external struggle bus, right? From a human perspective, they're working hard, they're not getting the career they want, they're not getting the financial situation they want. I come in and I explain to them who their soul is. Your soul's a really advanced soul. Your soul's not going to let you just like manifest things from a wounded place. You have to become unwounded, heal those self image gaps and voids, and then you will create what you desire. Okay. That happened to me a lot. Then I get the other type of client who's come in, they've created all this stuff, right? I hesitate to say they've created because it was kind of like a higher self plan. It was a higher self plan for them to go make the 20 million so they could figure out the 20 million was actually never going to heal their wound of not feeling good enough. It was their higher self plan to go get the dream relationship so that that dream relationship could show them, oh, that's not going to heal my father wound. I have to do that, right? It was their higher self plan to go make all this money or go have this career, or go be famous or get the 20 million followers on Instagram so that they could see get the bigger lesson of like, oh my God, I have all this stuff and I still don't feel better and I actually feel worse. Their soul lesson is these things are going to amplify their wound. I get these two types of people like clockwork. It's the only kind of people I ever get coming to sessions with me. And it makes sense because I've been number one and I've also had number two happen to me. So that being said, whether or not from the human perspective, from the outside, it looks like, because you're probably thinking, well, Allie, like someone who is like an influencer who all of a sudden got online and made and had 2 million followers within the first year of being there. Do they have a high self-image? They could, but if you're looking in, most people don't. If you're looking in, their creator field probably said, I need validation so fucking bad. I'm so in the negatives with validating myself. The creator field had to create the opposite, right? Who's heard me talk about this before? The creator field had to create the opposite of 2 million people coming in to validate them, to bring them back to neutral. They were so far in the negatives of not validating themselves and not feeling good enough. They had to have 2 million people tell them, you're great, you're cool, you're good, you're amazing, for them to even get neutral. And you don't want to manifest from that place because that's not sustainable. And then you end up feeling like more shit internally, and your 2 million Instagram followers don't actually really care how you feel when you go to bed at night, right? So are not actually going to come and heal your inner wounds for you. So there's two types of things that can happen. You can manifest that stuff from a low self-image, that your self-image has to be so low, and you manifest that stuff from your self-image being so low. But then what happens is every time these people come to me who have manifested it, they're so unfulfilled. They don't feel purpose. Because they don't have anything driving them other than like getting that success. And once they've gotten it, they're kind of like, okay, I'm bored. Like, I don't know what to do now. Right. So it's don't think just because somebody got the thing you want means that they have a high self-image. 9.9 out of 10 times, unless they understand how this works, they got it from a deep, deep wound and void in their creator field and hole. And they had to manifest all of this stuff on the outside just so they didn't go fully off the deep end. And it's not a sustainable way to create and manifest, because now you have to be so low to manifest these like quote successes coming in, but these successes aren't actually making you feel any better on the inside. And then most of these people who I've worked with then turn to drugs or turn to other things to try and continue to get that dopamine hit because they don't know how to give it to themselves just on their own every day. So, this podcast episode is going to help you understand why, again, you still just don't feel enough. There's still always a void. There's still something missing in there, even when your life may look impressive on the outside. Or this will also help you understand why you can't seem, if you're person one, and you can't seem to get what you want on the outside, even though you've done the most. It all comes back to a self-image thing. And we're going to talk about how to rewire the subconscious identity that is running your relationships, your career, your confidence, your nervous system, and your creation slash manifestation results. Okay. So buckle up because we have a full situation to go and we haven't even gotten started yet. So what is internal self-image? Your internal self-image is how you perceive yourself and how you believe other people perceive you. Okay. It is the subconscious identity you hold about who you are and about what's possible for you. Not who you are on Instagram, not who your friends think you are, but who you believe yourself to be when you are alone, when you're just totally, there's no mask on. Right? I always like ask yourself like, oh my gosh, if there were a camera on me right now, what would I be doing versus what would I be doing like if there weren't, right? Like you can know like who you feel like you are when you're actually alone. Okay? Your internal self-image determines how you show up, what you allow yourself to receive in life, and what you subconsciously reject, not even realizing it. Okay? This is why two people can have the same talent, same opportunity, but one will expand and go for it and the other one will not, right? Or it's why people with half your talent maybe do more because they just decide to be confident in their half the talent that you have. And you're over here too busy beating yourself up about all the talent that you have. And what happens is you're not actually self-sabotaging. I hate the word that goes around in the spiritual healing community. You're self-sabotaging yourself. No, your brain is literally just on a program, okay? So it's not like I need you to stop like blaming yourself. Obviously, we put our brains on this program, but like you're not just like you can't control that your brain is doing this every day until you have certain tools, which we break down and get inside of the Glow Foundation. But you really can't control that your brain's doing it. Like a mindset shift does not fix this. Okay. So the neuroscience of self-image. Self-image equals a neural loop. Okay. Self-image equals a neural loop. Your brain is not just a passive observer thing that's going on. Your brain is a pattern building fucking machine. It builds a template for who you are based on your emotionally repeated experiences that you have going on every single day. So, for example, when I was little, I got praised for when I was like a good girl, right? I'm sure everyone here has. So, like, you're a good girl. I'm a good girl. When I did something that my parents liked, if they approved, then I was a good girl, right? Or my dad would fucking have this anger attack, scream, yell at everyone, throw shit, push me down the stairs, throw stuff at my mom, right? And then I had to apologize to him because I made him mad. You made dad mad. Go apologize to him. So then I was also conditioned to, oh my gosh, if anyone's ever upset with me, even if I was just fucking sitting here existing and you're upset with me, I need to go apologize because my presence, my existence made you mad. Who here has dealt with that, right? So there's this conditioning, right? It's a neural loop that happens. So then that starts to become an identity, right? I can't express myself authentically, or else I will make dad mad. He will rage, yell, scream, throw me down the steps, whatever the fuck he's gonna do, who even knows? And that's what's going to happen. So, then what I took on was then I also got asthma because asthma and anything going on with the lung, a general thing going on with the lung is feeling like you can't express yourself authentically, right? And so I didn't feel like I could express myself authentically. So pieces of my lung light body started to break off in these emotional settings. We've talked about how this works before, right? And so now I get asthma. And now I also can't ever express my needs because if I express my needs, I'm going to make someone mad because someone's going to think I'm being disrespectful. So now I'm in high school and I don't know how to date boys. Like I literally would like get boyfriends and I wouldn't talk to them. Like I literally would be like, I don't know what to say to you. Like I can't express anything because I can't express my authentic self. And then I just had this one version of Allie that was happy, 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 positive, bubbly Allie, which is a big part of me and it is a version of me. But there was angry Allie, there was fucking pissed off Allie, there was lioness Allie, there was I'm a bitch Allie today, and all these other parts of me that at the glow retreat we get to like express and like let out. But I was holding in. So it conditioned me. So I then had a neural network, I had a neural pathway, I had a belief, I had a pattern in my brain that said, if you go off like brand of this just happy alley and you ruffle any feathers, everyone's gonna hate you. It's not safe. You're gonna die. You're gonna get beat up. No matter, it didn't matter if it was in my home or just like pissing someone off at the grocery store. So again, if that happened to you, or if you were praised when you were succeeded as a child, or you were ignored as a child when you were struggling, or if you were only comforted as a child when you fixed the situation, your brain has learned it's not safe to express my authentic self. Your brain has learned my worth only comes from achievements. Your brain has learned struggle is part of my identity. Your brain has learned being like still is unsafe. That was one for me, being still is unsafe. Oh my God. Wait, I have a story. Okay. So in high school, I was psycho obsessed with just training and dance. So I say from like 10th grade to 12th grade. So I would go to school, come home, go to dance class, but I had to work to pay for my dance classes because my, dad was like, I'm not going to pay for dance classes. So I said, okay, I'll figure it out myself. So I had to work at the dance studio and I taught dance and I helped out and I subbed any class I needed to be subbed and I taught my own classes to be able to pay for my own dance classes. And I taught tumbling and cheer and all of that to be able to pay for my own dance classes. And I was constantly working. And in the summer, I was teaching dance camp. I was going to my own dance camp. And then I was babysitting and being a nanny. So I would nanny in the day, then I would go teach dance camp, then I would go to my own dance camp later in the night for when the older kids went. And I had one day off ever. It was Sunday. Sunday was the only day I ever had off. And so you can imagine my body was exhausted. Not only was I teaching dance for 5 hours a day, I was also training a dance for 5 hours a day, along with getting up at like 6 a.m. to nanny. And I would go from one to the next to the next. And so Sunday, of course, your girl's body is exhausted. I'm going to rest. Well, I'm resting. And I remember it was like super hot in the summer. I'm like laying, my parents live in a townhouse. I was like laying on the brown, like big, fluffy couch thing at their house. It's like really actually super, it's like a rock. It's actually the most uncomfortable thing ever. But I'm laying there and I hear my dad like open the door. The freaking glass door there is so loud. You know how like it squeaks when you open it. And I hear him coming in his like loud fucking footsteps walking in. And I just already tense up because like my dad's in my house. So he comes in and he's like, yo, wow, like, what are you doing? Why are you laying around? Money doesn't grow off fucking trees. And he saw me laying around for the one day that I had to actually rest and relax and lay around. And what he did was he called up his Italian friend at the restaurant that he owns. That was about 10 minutes from where we lived, called, I think it was called Bella's or no, Giuliano's. Giuliano's. And he's like, hey, my daughter's not doing anything right now. She needs a job. So he makes me go work at his friend's restaurant and get paid. I'm not getting you $5 an hour to be a host, $5 an hour, when I was making 40, 50, $60 an hour teaching dance and 20 bucks an hour nannying and babysitting. He makes me go take a $5 an hour job at his friend's restaurant on a Sunday. So I literally have to get up, go to his friend, or else, because at this point I'm like, I'm gonna get beat up if I don't like listen. So I have to get up, go to his friend's restaurant, and go work for $5 an hour on my only day to rest when I know, even at that time, I'm like, I can make 60 bucks an hour teaching a private. Like, what the fuck? What am I doing? And I would make $20 to be there for 5 hours or four, I'm sorry, yeah, 5 hours. And 20 bucks for 5 hours. And even my brain then, I was like, this is working way too hard. Like, I'm all about working hard, but like, you can work hard and smart at the same time. If I know that I can make more, why am I doing this? And so it trained my self image to literally be like, if you rest, if you stop, it is not safe and you will literally die. Like you won't be okay. You won't make the money you need to make. You won't be successful if you rest. And so that was literally, I mean, I'm still deprogramming this fucking one. I mean, when I go to a massage, I have about 10 minutes of anxiety before I can relax. Like, it's way better than it ever was. But to this day, it's still in my nervous system, even though I logically know like that's not true. It's still in my nervous system. So the first 10 minutes of anything where I'm laying still, I'm literally working through like a fucking panic attack. And then I can get really relaxed after I can like fall asleep, which is a new development, which is great. But there's still like this 10 minutes of like, oh my God, like I can't be sitting still. I need to be doing something in order to like create success. And that's a self-image problem, right? So I see a lot of comments coming in. We can relate. So anything, that's just an example, but this can happen with anything. I have many more self-image examples, but I will spare you I'll leave it at that one for now, because I'm sure we'll go into more later. But what happens is these experiences become neural, like kind of grooves in your brain, like pathways, okay? And your brain just then says, this is who I am. And that's the problem. Your brain doesn't care if that identity makes you happy, if that identity is actually who you are on a soul level. It just cares what's familiar and what it thinks is going to keep you safe. Number two, you've heard this one before in our last podcast about this. We have the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is your brain's filter. It decides what information to focus on and what information to delete. So if your self-image says, I'm the person who doesn't get chosen, I'm not the person who gets chosen for things. If your brain says, I'm not that impressive, if your brain says, I'm not cut out for that level, if your brain says, I'm not good enough for that, then when evidence shows up, that is, let's say, so what happens is your brain says all these things. You get so low in the negatives that then your creator field has to create a positive experience to bring you back to neutral so you don't like crash out, basically. No crash outs. So you don't crash out because you're so low in the negatives with your self-image. Your creative field has to create a situation where someone comes to bring you up to neutral. So what can happen is a man can come up, or a woman, or whoever you're sexually into can come up and show deep interest in you, right? Or you can get a huge opportunity, or someone tells you they admire you, right? It's the pity donuts, right? When our creator field gives us pity donuts. Well, because you don't believe it, your reticular activating system goes, no, that's not relevant. And you make up excuses as to like why that's actually happening. And it filters out any kind of compliment, success, opportunity. It just filters it out like it was nothing. This is why it feels like your wins like don't stick, or why you still feel behind even when you're doing amazing, or when you can't feel anything when you have success, right? Your brain literally blocks new data because it threatens your old identity. The ego does not like to be threatened, right? So, but then another angle of this is your creator field is done giving you pity donuts. So so what happens is you're so in the negatives, And now, because you're so in the negatives of I'm not the person who gets chosen, well, now when it comes to you and someone else of someone to buy from, like let's say you have a business, it's they're thinking, do I want to buy from you or do I want to buy from Shelly? And they're like, well, I'm going to go with Shelly just because they feel more drawn to Shelly. Why do they feel more drawn to Shelly? Because your creator field has a script and the script says, I'm not the person who gets chosen. And if you're just hearing me for the first time, the creator field is one big concoction of our beliefs, our thoughts, and our physical actions, what we believe to be true. And what we believe to be true gets written like a literal script in our creator field. And that script gets projected out to everyone, and people are going to mirror back and act out your script. So if you believe I'm not the person who gets chosen, you will have a script in your creator field that says, please don't choose me. Please, I'm begging you, don't choose me. You need to validate my brain. You need to validate what I believe to be true. So please don't choose me so I can continue to prove to myself that I'm not chosen. So my brain feels safe and my ego feels like it's happy. And so that's what's going on. So now people are just going to not choose you. Guys, women in dating world aren't going to choose you. You're married. They're going to choose to do other things over hanging out with you. They're going to choose to scroll over hanging out with you. They're going to choose to do anything other than hang out with you. Who here has felt that? I have. They will choose anything over you, right? Because you're telling them to. That's what your script of your creator field says. That's what's happening on the energetic level. And what's happening on the physical scientific level is your reticular activating system is begging them to prove back to you this belief that you're not chosen, right? So then this leads me to part 3 of the neuroscience of this is it's called prediction error minimization. Prediction error minimization. This one's huge. Your brain predicts your reality based on past experiences, and it wants those projections to be right. Okay? It wants those predictions to be right. So, if your identity has always been the overachiever, the one who never gets what they want, the person who struggles, the person who never feels enough, the person who is always running late, even. I've had that one. Like, I'm just always late. That's a self-image problem. I see myself as the person who's literally always late. Therefore, no matter how hard I try, I'm literally always late, even if I try and be early. It's what happens because your brain then likes to prove that you're always late. So you're going to find more ways to always be late. Then your body will follow suit of what your brain is telling you. So your body is going to now create things and ways to be late. Even to the point of like, I was trying to get a necklace on today. It's not on because I was trying to get a necklace on and I like couldn't get the clasp open. And it took me 10 fucking minutes to get the clasp open. And then when I got to open it, like didn't go in the thing right. And then, therefore I was like running behind and I said, fuck this necklace. I can't even be bothered right now anymore. Your body will follow suit. Like, I believe I'm always late. My body can't fucking unclasp the necklace like it does normally within 5 seconds. It took 10 minutes because I knew I was running late. So my physical body followed suit. It's just literally what happens. So if your identity is as something little and as funny as being late to something as big and as like all consuming as I never get what I want in life, or I'm not valuable enough, or I'm not worthy enough, or I'm not good enough, or I just always have to struggle, or something's just always like no one ever understands me. It could be a small thing to a big thing. Your brain will minimize anything that contradicts that identity. So, being early, having peace in your inner world, right? Being celebrated, feeling like you got the things you wanted. That all feels unsafe to your brain, to your subconscious. It's like a glitch, like your brain takes it as a glitch. So you will subconsciously push it away. Or if you get it, you'll just be like, well, I got lucky. Or it won't last. Who here has had that? Like, oh, I had this really cool thing happen. It won't last. Or, oh God, I'm waiting for like the bad thing to come. It's not because of your mindset. It's because your brain is trying to protect the story that it already knows. So, for example, a lot of people have their own businesses in here. A client signs up to work with you. It's your highest rate you've ever charged. And instead of celebrating and being like, oh my God, like they're just reflecting back like my value that I've connected to. That's awesome. I've connected to that level of value. Instead of doing that, you panic and you over deliver and you give it way too much because deep down you don't believe you are like, you believe they paid too much and you believe you need to now give them 27,000 years worth of value, what you think is value, because you feel like they paid too much, right? Because you're not actually rooted to how much your time, energy, whatever is worth. Or you get asked to speak, whether it is at a conference at work, it's a presentation at work, it's at a major event. Your first thought is, they must not know who I really am, or else they wouldn't be asking me to do this. That is, again, your reticular activating system trying to like fight with you. Or what's another one? You are in a relationship and the person in the relationship, the man, the woman has done inner work on themselves. So they're like safe. They're not going to just like take their shit out on you. They're going to like lovingly communicate their problems, whatever it is, right? And all of a sudden you feel like you need to either overgive because you feel like they're giving you so much, you need to like overgive to them because you feel like you don't deserve it deep down. Or you do the opposite and you pull away and you become avoidant because that kind of like situation is scary and not good. It doesn't feel like it's real for you, right? It's what self-image wounds are what creates the what's it called? Attachment styles, right? Like avoidant attachment, anxious attachment, whatever the other ones are. Self-image wounds are what creates that. The same self-image wound can create the opposite things. It can create anxious attachment or avoidant attachment. The same self-image wound of not feeling good enough can create someone always wanting to be seen and have all this attention on them because they'll feed off of that, or it can create someone to hide and be in baggy clothes, hide in the corner. Same wound can create two different outcomes. So again, it's not like this self-sabotage thing that you can control with just like your mindset and affirmations. This is an identity protection that your brain is doing, like literally in real time in action. So I have so many like stories to share of how I have watched myself and so many people do this all the time, every day. But one of them that I will be here for 10,000 years, but one of them that I will share about myself is for a very long time, I decided that no one was going to think I was good at what I do unless I had like a lot of money already doing it. So when I first started out as a intuitive and a healer, I was so beyond embarrassed to be doing sessions on my furnitureless living room apartment floor that I would literally tell people like, oh yeah, like me and my roommate Megan, we're just getting new furniture. Like it's fine. We didn't like our old furniture, so we're just ordering new furniture. And I would like have to like, I would be so embarrassed about it. And because I decided that the only way I could be good at what I do or people could tell I was good at what I do is if I made a lot of money doing it. And I don't know about you, but the people who are best at what they do, I swear to God, most people don't know about. Like the people who are like really fucking good are not the ones with like 20, 30, 40 million followers. It's just like I've noticed this thing. And not that that can't happen, that is a possibility, but I've just noticed that the people who are actually really know what they're talking about like are not the ones that you're like always fucking hearing about everywhere. Again, you can be really good at what you do and be heard about everywhere, but I've just kind of like noticed this happens. So I had to literally work through and program in myself. I am so fucking good at what I do before anyone ever paid me a fucking dime. I had to root to I had to get all my validation from my inner knowing. This was my digging through my car for quarters era. I had to root to my knowing of I am so fucking special. I'm so good at what I do because I'm me. I had to root to like 125 of my 4,000 fucking attributes that I have and just really just see my special and uniqueness in me being me and see that that's where my value comes from. And then I could start to make money from there. Make sense? I saw my value. My creator field wrote, I am valuable. Then people read from my creator field, her information is valuable. Energy and frequency of money is value, right? So I decided I was valuable from the inside, not from an external thing. My creator field then had a script going, I am valuable. People then saw me. They didn't have to know exactly what I did. They just saw, I've got to work with this girl. What she has to say is valuable. Oh my gosh, it's worth money. Energy and frequency of money is value. I wrote a new program in my creator field. I remember in February 2020, right? Yeah. Yeah. February 2020, I discovered ingredients. And I was like, oh my God. Now I was already doing self-image healing before this, but I discovered a new thing that was ingredients. And I was like, wait a minute. I can plug in certain ingredients and I can get certain things. And I started with the most basic ingredients. One of them was financial abundance. And I have way more like better, higher functioning ingredients now that we have inside Glow Foundation, Glow Formula. But one of them was financial abundance. The other one was I am valuable. That's it. And I start just training my brain to see these things. I start training my reticular activating system. I start writing a new script in my creator field. I start proving these things to myself to be true. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm valuable. Someone held the door for me. I'm valuable. I felt really proud of myself for doing this. I learned something new today. That's valuable. Financial abundance. Oh my gosh, I had $3 for my coffee today. I put $10 of gas in my car and didn't have to search for quarters for that today. I somehow am living in this beautiful house in Toluca Lake that my LA mom is letting me live here for, and I had to pay rent, but like I was paying $1,200 to live in like a big house in Toluca Lake in LA, and that is like not heard of. So I'm like I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm living in this like $1 million home and I'm doing this and I'm have my car and I start just clocking, improving. I just start training my brain. Well, February 2020, I made probably $200 total, maybe 500. March 2020, all of a sudden I make $5,600 in my business. Fast forward to June 2020, all of a sudden I'm making like $11,100 in my business. And then I was sustaining that around that, a little like give or take a little bit for a really, really long time. And then I just kept going higher, other than my self-image dip, that happened when I moved to Dallas, but we'll get to that in a second. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can change my brain if I just start to change what I am focusing on, because energy is never created or destroyed. It just changes forms. So even right now, if I ask you to look around your room and tell me find all the blue colors, like look around your room and find everything that's the color fucking blue right now. Like actually do it wherever you are or wherever you're listening to this. Like find all the blue colors. Okay, great. Now what did you notice that was yellow? You didn't fucking notice yellow because you were looking for blue, but yellow's still around. It doesn't mean yellow went the fuck away. You were looking for blue. Blue is your limiting beliefs. Yellow is your expansive beliefs, right? Yellow is there. Yellow didn't just go away. You just didn't see because you weren't fucking looking for yellow. So that's my point. I decided to stop seeing all of these things as I'm not making money. That means I'm not valuable. I don't have a G-Wagon. That means I suck. I don't have a million followers. That means I'm not good at what I do. That is all trying to solve an internal problem with an external solution. And if you're listening to this or you're in here, I guarantee your soul is not going to let you do that anyway, because your soul's too important, because you have an elite soul and your soul wants to know how to build everything brick by brick in order to actually create and sustain the life you want. Because if you don't do that, you will not sustain that life. You will get it from a self-image imbalance, and then you will have it. And then in 5 years, it's going to come crashing down. You're going to have a more self-image problem than you do even now. You are here to actually know how to build things brick by brick by brick by brick. And that is honestly the highest honor that you can have as a soul. It's the highest honor to be able to like have that in your soul plan because then you build these things and then they sustain and then they're always there. And then you just add and then you learn a new thing over here and you add and you learn a new thing over here and then you add and you plug in and you go more and more and more and more. But you know how to sustain it because you know everything comes back to your self-image. Right? And there's self-image ingredients that I've gotten so specific now that they target the most specific things that you just doing them a little bit of time changes everything. I got about like 15 to 18 self-image. We're going to learn them in Glow Foundation. Some of them. I can't give you 18 at a time. It's way too much. It would not be doing you a favor. But we're going to learn some of these in Glow Foundation. About a year and a half ago, a year and a half ago, I got like about 15 to 18 self-image ingredients around finances in my soul pull career. Well, I start rooting to them, right? And I start clocking them and I start seeing instead of blue, I start seeing yellow. And I start seeing yellow because yellow was always there. I just wasn't looking for it. I start seeing yellow and I start seeing all of the ways and I'm proving to myself all of these very specific ingredients. I mean, very. And all of a sudden, I go from making $30,000 months to making multiple six-figure months within what was that, Sarah? Like 2 months time, 3 months time. And I also find COO Sarah, who is a massive part of that too, right? So it is wild what ingredients can do and what training your brain can do and how much it can shift. I went from making like a $300,000 year, a $300,000 to $400,000 year the year before in 2023, and then 2024 we made a almost multiple $1 million year. For sure, $1 million year. And now we're already at a multiple $1 million year because of me just constantly like bringing in new self-image ingredients around career and finances. We're going to do some of those in the Glow Foundation, and then we have all of them to give you in the Glow formula. But that is my point. I train myself, and you've got to train yourself to stop seeing the blues and to start seeing the yellows because they're both there. They're both there, but which one are you going to like train your brain to see and hone in on? And another thing is I have trained myself. Now, I'm not saying I'm like, perfect at this, but I have trained myself to not beat myself up about anything. So if I like make a perceived mistake or if I like do something like, oh, I wish I didn't do it that way or whatever, instantly I'm going, how is this perfect? How is this helping me get what I want? Because it is. Because we don't grow or get better from just like being perfect or not making mistakes. Each time you have something you're like, oh, I didn't like that or I didn't like how that went. You're just going, oh, this is perfect. It's just giving me new tools. If I don't have a launch go the way I want it to go, I didn't do something, I missed something. And it's not about beating myself up. It's about going, oh my gosh, I'm getting an incredible opportunity to add in more tools, which is more ingredients, more physical actions, different marketing here, different this here. And now I'm becoming the best fucking entrepreneur because I am getting to like add in new things. But if something just went my way, I wouldn't be motivated to learn new things. Therefore, I wouldn't be the best that I could be. So you've got to, everything is self-image. Like you've got to train yourself to do these things with your brain. So how do you change it? Let's talk about a few like foundational things and neuroscience backed methods that we can use to start to rewire our identity. So we do have to, number one, create emotional safety around worthiness. And I hate even using the word worthiness because you hear it fucking all the time. And I hate using words you hear all the time, but for lack of a better word, worthiness or feeling good enough, right? You have to create emotional safety around feeling good enough because your identity won't change if it feels unsafe to be enough. So you have to teach yourself that it is safe to be supported, loved, get things you want, whatever it is. Number two is that you have to use it's called like you got to use identity language, okay? So for example, if I were to be like, I'm trying to be a person who is always on time, that doesn't work because trying and like you're just always gonna be trying, right? I have to start to clock and prove to myself that I have been on time, that I am on time. So I've got to start to find all the little ways that I am on time. Like I was on time here, I was on time here. I got here early, I was on time here early. And I'm starting to prove to myself all the ways. Therefore, my brain and body will then follow. But if I'm trying to be on time, like that's not going to fucking work. Because if you're doing, I'm trying to be on time, you're reinforcing an old identity, right? Because if you're saying I'm trying, like you're still saying I'm not on time. But if you're going, I am a person who is on time, here's why, proof, proof, proof. I was on time here, I was on time here, I was on time here, I was on time here. Well, then I'm now creating a new belief, and eventually I will be on time everywhere, right? Unless like it's a divine protection and I'm not supposed to be. So it's about training your brain. As you train your brain, you rewrite your creator field. All a belief is a repetitive thought you have over and over and over again. You change your thoughts, so you change from focusing on the blues to focusing on the yellows. It starts to build a new neural pathway. The old neural pathway starts to suffocate. The new neural pathway starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger the more you focus on the yellows, on the more empowering things. And now you have a belief. Now, after a belief, it starts to become a knowing. And how belief becomes a knowing is when belief is mixed with action. So now you're starting to take physical action. Now you have a belief, now you're taking physical action as if you are this person, and now it becomes a knowing, and now it's just your identity. It becomes a non-declarative thing about you. Non-declarative means that's just now how your brain is wired. I had to train myself and train my brain to praise myself like a literal 5-year-old. I had to treat myself like a 5-year-old for a very long time. I had to force it. I had to, every time, the only way to create a new habit is to attach it to something you already do. So after I would like go to the bathroom, I'd wash my hands. I would look at myself in the mirror every time after I went to the bathroom, and I would praise myself and like really make myself feel it for like 2 minutes. And for years, for like 3 years, I had to intentionally work at this. Well, now my brain is just wired that way. It's called neuroplasticity. You can change your brain with focus and locking in on it, but you can change it. So now it's a non-declarative memory, which means that's literally just how my brain works and functions now. And when I do have thoughts, I'm not identifying with them. Like we're always going to have thoughts, we're always going to have reflections. That's how we grow. But I'm not like making it mean something about me. It's like my thoughts over here and I'm over here. My thoughts like on the left and I'm on the right. Like I'm watching it happen versus making it actually mean something about me. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, what? I'm like, huh, that's weird. That's interesting. I'm having that thought. Like, why, first of all? And then like, where's it coming from? What's the reflection? Then let's reprogram that. But I'm not like making that thought mean that's who I am in my identity. And that's where you can start to be able to get your brain to. And that leads me to we have to anchor that identity, right? Through like repetition, repetition, repetition. It's not enough to just say, I'm worthy, or I'm valuable, or I'm beautiful, right? You need to feel experiences of being more than enough, right? So, oh my gosh, I said no to going out with my friends and they still like me. No one hates me, even if I said no, right? Or I let myself rest today and I made the business did even better than when I was going 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, right? Or, oh my gosh, someone complimented me and I didn't feel the need to reject it today. Proving it to yourself, proving it to yourself over and over and over again. And we've got to interrupt the old patterning because your brain is going to go into an old pattern. It's going to love it. It's going to love to go into its old patterns to what it knows how to do. And you're gonna continue to have times where you feel like you're not enough. I felt like not enough for so long. I mean, if I healed it in career, then I had it financially. If I healed it financially, then I had it in my body. When I healed in my body, I had it in my relationship. Like it will pop up in every area of life until you heal that feeling in every area of life, all the 8 areas of life, which we will talk about in the Glow Foundation. But it will pop up in every area of life until you fix it. And so I remember I, growing up, my dad would always like threaten to leave, like if he got mad. So like he would always threaten to leave, or then he would like go to Atlantic City, which is like the East Coast version of Vegas, kind of like the worst version of Vegas, but it's like the East Coast version of Vegas. Who's been to Atlantic City? I used to love it there when I was little. I would go to the pool. Anyway, my dad would like always went there to gamble. So he would leave and go there, or he would like threaten to leave. Or I remember in 5th grade, my friend from across the street came over to ask me to like, play out back or whatever. And my dad was outside on the steps and he was like, Allie, like, I'm gonna leave. Like, and he would get manipulative. Like he would get like mom, wants me to like throw my mom under the bus and be like, yeah, she wants me to leave. Like, no one here loves me. And he would get very like manipulative like that. And I remember like crying hysterically to my friend who like just came to the door. And I was like, my dad's gonna leave. And then I realized, oh my gosh, let me like tell him I love him so much. Let me praise him. Let me do all these things so he doesn't leave. And then he obviously like didn't actually leave. So then I decided, oh my God, okay, if I'm not enough because he was gonna leave, but if I'm like over giving, then he won't leave. So then that leads to then like relationships. And it would even show up in my relationship with Justin early on. Like we had like a lot of reflections with each other early on, like on our 2nd year of our relationship. So it really came up then. And he would get like avoidant. And then I would get like, oh my God, let me like be really nice to him and like just ignore all the things, all the mean things he just said. And like, let me just be overly nice so he doesn't leave. And it was this thing going, I'm not enough, just me being me, or like what I bring to the table, just Allie being Allie. I have to overgive so he doesn't leave. And then what was funny was then the tables flipped because I started to go, fuck this. I'm done feeling this way. Like, I don't want anyone else to have the power over me. So I started going, okay, I had an ingredient and I'm going to teach it in the Glow Foundation. It's so good for relationships and like feeling like, it will make the person like be in a healthy way. Like, I don't want to say obsessed because that sounds unhealthy, but like they will want to be around you. They will want to commit to you. They will want to like do anything for you basically. Um but it's an ingredient around it's not the specific ingredient because I can't fully remember the exact ingredient right now, but I have it in my notes for you and for foundation, but it was like something around how am I more than enough. Like if I was a fucking couch potato for the rest of my life and I did nothing else and I accomplished nothing else and I literally was just in a potato sack on the couch for the rest of my life, like how am I more than enough for Justin, for this relationship? And I rooted to that bitch and I rooted to it and I rooted to it and I rooted to it every single day. And now he is like goes above and beyond for me. And he literally is like afraid. Not that this is a no, this is not a bad thing, but he's a little bit of a fear of losing me. Fear is good sometimes. Like a little bit of fear is good to have, right? Like a fear of like, okay, like losing your job or a fear of someone leaving, right? He has this little bit of like a fear of like, okay, like I actually can't disrespect her because this bitch like will like walk away. Right. So we want them to have that. So then I no longer get treated in that kind of way. And I get a proposal in Hawaii on a mountaintop with a beach in the background with these big ass letters and doves and a full fucking situation and a private dinner with a private chef afterwards overlooking the beach and a big ass ring that I asked for and that I like. So that I told my friend that I liked. I didn't tell him, but I told my friend that I liked and she made it happen. And and I get all of this now, something he would never do. Also, another thing is Justin used to we look at finances differently. And so I remember back in my Dallas 2021, when I first moved to Dallas across the street from where I am now, crash out era in 2021, self-image crash out era. We were both sick. And so we both got an IV and his name and card was just like on the IV thing. So he paid for my part of it, which was like $300. And he got like mad that he paid for it. And I was like, oh, well, I'm sorry. Like, I'll Venmo you right now. Like, sorry. Allie now would be like, you're the man, pay for it. But at that time, I was like, oh my God, he's mad. Let me, overgive. So I was like, I'm sorry, like I'll pay for it. He like crashes out and gets mad about paying for a $300 thing. Well, now he just happily paid for our honeymoon and the flights there and helped pay for more than he would like want to pay for a wedding because we see money very differently. But he did that literally just because of my creator field, literally because I feel like I am more than enough, just me being me. And even if I was a couch potato, like I'm like the best thing that could ever happen to him, I truly feel like I'm the best thing that could ever happen to him. And therefore, he then treats me as that because that's the script my creator field writes. My script writes, I'm the best thing that could ever happen to you. And so now he's like, oh my God, she's the best thing that could ever happen to me. The least I could fucking do is help out here. The least I could do is do this. The least I could do is give this, right? And it's just a self image. He mirrors my self image. Everyone is going to mirror your self image. I Oh, I hate that I'm really outing myself with this one. So yesterday, well, 1 week, so I go to lymphatic drainage massages every week. And I love the girl I go to because she's very real. And just like everyone, she's a mirror. And I fucking love her. Like I would recommend her to anyone who is in Dallas. She's so good. And I love talking to her and she's really good at what she does and she's awesome. She totally, as anyone does, mirrors back my thoughts. So last week I was feeling snatched. I was like, I'm so skinny. Like I'm so ready for my wedding. I'm snatched. We're ready to go. And she goes, oh my gosh, like you've lost weight. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. This past week, I'm in my luteal phase. I'm feeling you know, how we get in our luteal phase. And I like my body dysmorphia was dysmorphing a little bit. And yesterday she says to me, this is not her. She's just repeating my thoughts. She goes, she's like, yeah, like last week you were skinnier than this week. And she just repeats my thoughts back to me. And so it's not her, like she's just, it is nothing. I love her. This has nothing to do with her. She is literally repeating my thoughts. So I'm like, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You're saying that. Like, I'm not mad at all because I'm like, literally, that makes complete sense. You're saying that because I had that exact same thought literally 5 minutes ago. So people are not going to, unfortunately, see you for who you are at your core unless you see you for who you are at your core. It's just what's going to happen, unfortunately. And fortunately, because you get to raise your self image in the process. People are not going, you want so bad for people to see who you are at your core. You have to see who you are at your core. It's the only way. You want so bad for people to like validate you and compliment you. You have to validate you and compliment you. Whatever you are craving from someone or something else, you've got to give to yourself. And there's a whole process of how we do this and how we train the brain that you will find in Glow Formula and Glow Foundation. But we need to first understand this topic first. You got to understand this before you even get to that level of Glow Foundation, if you're ready for that level. Justin sees who I am now because I see who I am now. I was still awesome, magical Allie 3 years ago, but I didn't see it. So he didn't see it. So he mirrored what I saw. Now he mirrors what I see, and I'm more connected to who I actually am than ever before. Right? People are going to mirror what you see. They're not going to mirror who you actually are. You've got to see who you actually are. You've got to uncover all of the magic and like uniqueness and specialness that you actually are. And there's a way to do that. There's a way to train yourself to see part of the 4,000 attributes, or all 4,000 if you're really motivated. But there's a way that we do in Glow Foundation that we're going to train ourselves to be able to unlock and know and fully feel all those incredible attributes that we are that make us special and unique. Well, when we feel like we're special and unique, we feel valuable. We feel like we're more than enough. When we feel valuable, like we're more than enough, well, then other people are going to like mirror that back to us. Justin 3 years ago couldn't bother paying $300 for an IV. And now he's paid a lot more for a honeymoon that I was shocked that he paid for just because of like how my creative field has been in the past with him, and way more than he would ever want to on a wedding. Not that he can't, but we see money differently. So way more than he would ever like choose to pay on himself for something or whatever. Complete 180 this man has done in many ways other than this, but because of my self-image in my creator field. I was always the same soul. I've always had the same soul attributes, the same soul gifts. I just was disconnected from them. I did not see them. I had a lot of holes in my creator field, in my self image. I began to fill those holes, and we're always filling at new levels, but I began to fill. And now I get a different treatment from the same exact person. People think you've got to leave the place, the thing, the person. They're not this. They're probably just literally mirroring you. People get divorced way too soon. People leave jobs way too soon. People leave situations way too soon. People blow up their business way too soon because they're thinking, oh, this doesn't work. I'm going over here. It's not that doesn't work. It's you that's not working. It's your field that's not fielding in the way you want it to. It's your beliefs that aren't believing in the way you want them to. It's your thoughts that aren't thinking in the way that you want them to. You can quite literally change and control how people, places, situations, and circumstances are treating and being toward you by the way you are treating and being toward yourself. This is why self-image is the key to everything and anything you want to manifest in life, you want to create in life, you want to heal in life. It all points back to self-love and self-image. Self-image is probably the main one because in order to have self-love, you have to have a high self-image. So you have to feel like you are worthy or not of putting yourself first, right? Because self-love is prioritizing yourself, putting yourself first. You have to feel like you are worthy of that to be able to do that. Okay. So it all starts with your perception of yourself, how you perceive yourself and how you believe other people perceive you, the story you have going on of yourself. And there's a lot of them going on. There's probably stories going on you don't even know that are going on right now. So this next week, after you listen to this, your homework is to start just noticing what in social settings, what's the story you're telling yourself about yourself there? In career, what's the story you're telling yourself about there? In financial, what's the story you're telling yourself about yourself there? About your health or your body, what's the story you're telling yourself about yourself there? In relationships, in your romantic relationship, what's the story you're telling there? Oh, I'm just not entertaining enough, so that's why my partner isn't paying attention to me. No, bitch, you're entertaining just sitting on your couch in a couch potato bag. Why though? You have to know why. You have to prove it to yourself. You are magnetic just sitting on your fucking couch in a couch potato bag, curled up, doing whatever you're doing. You're magnetic, but why? You don't feel that way though. So that's the problem. It's not that you're not, it's that you don't feel that way. Your self-image is not who you actually are. Your limited one is not who you actually are. It's just how you're feeling. It's literally just a feeling. You can change a feeling by focusing on the yellows instead of focusing on the blues. By focusing on all the things that law of focus, simple law, we talk about all the time, by just bringing in all the reasons, because energy is not created or destroyed. It just changes forms. So it's everywhere. Reasons as to why you're financially abundant, even if your accounts are negative zero, 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 whatever, negative $10,000, there's still reasons that you can find that you are financially abundant or that you are a person who can make money or have money around them. The computer you're on right now, the phone you're on right now, the car you're driving in right now, the headphones you have in right now. That's all money. You have it in your hand. You're listening to it. You're looking at it. Clock it. It's everywhere. Our brains just aren't trained to see it. And people are like, no, I don't have it. How can I start to find it? No, you do have it. You're just looking at blue instead of yellow. Okay. I could go on and on and on because this is my favorite topic of the world, but we will stop here. We just talked about a lot. Re-listen to this a lot of times. And your homework this week is to, before I tell you the homework, know that this is the foundation of the foundation of the foundation. And if you're ready to go advanced, ready to get a little more elite, then we have the Glow Foundation for you. It is out now. But please do not come and ruin it for everyone in there if you're going to complain or be annoyed or not want to take radical responsibility. We love you, but you're just not ready for it then. And you can come whenever you're ready for it. Now, your homework is Notice what are the stories you're telling yourself in all these 8 areas of life. If you're wondering the 8 areas, we go over that in the foundation. What are the stories you are telling yourself in all about yourself in all these areas of life? We've got to notice them because right now, if I look at intuitively, like most people are only really aware like of 3% of their stories that they're telling themselves subconsciously. So there's a lot of stories you're telling yourself that you don't even realize or that you just think is like normal or how you are. And that's a big problem. You've just decided that you don't get the validation you want. You just decided that you don't get to make what you want to make. You just decided that the career isn't going to work for you. You've just decided that your husband just isn't going to pay attention to you. No, we can redecide. We can control our whole reality from our creator field because it writes the script of how people are being. We can move and change matter with using our thoughts. We change our thoughts, we change our beliefs, we change our creator field, we change our reality. So just start to take note of where you are doing this. And you're going to be shocked when you actually start to pay attention to your brain and how it's thinking and making up all these random fucking stories. It is wild. Even I, again, am balls deep in this fucking work for the past 10 years. Every day I still find myself making up stories at new levels. And you hit one level, you make it like a video game. You make it past level 1. Now you're in level 2. So let's say you get to level 10 of level 1. Well, now you get to level 2. Now you're back at level 1 of level 2. Right? So you get all the way up, you get all these things, you're at level 10 of level 1. Well, now in the video game, you get sent to level 2 and it gets harder. And now you're back down at level 1 of level 2 and you got to get back to level 10. You get to level 10 of level 2, you go to level 3, but you're at level 1 of level 3 and it gets even harder. So every day to this day, and I've been, again, balls deep in self-image healing for 10 years, I still find stories that I'm making up about myself all the time. I guarantee there are stories you're making up about yourself that you haven't even noticed that you're making them up because you just think it's normal. You just think that's who you are. You just think that's your identity, but it's not. Your soul is perfect. It designs you perfectly. Your soul chose every single attribute about you on purpose for a purpose. And you are literally perfect. It's just your perception that is out of alignment. We've got to train your brain to get yourself back in perception with the truth of who your soul actually is. It's going to change your creator field. It's going to change what you're creating in life. It's going to change how people are treating you, what's good, what gets to go on, the kind of successes you have, all of that. Okay. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I could go on and on. We'll stop here. We have more of these prerequisite podcast episodes coming to listen to before you even get inside the Glow Foundation and know everything that's going on in there. Okay. Bye.